Now we should speak about meditation a little bit. I want to explain to you how it works and what are the effects of it and how to do it. And then we go into the practice. Good. Now, have you ever started? Have you ever done some meditation? Yes? What did you do?
Some guided meditations for relaxing and detoxing and so I think relaxing and detoxing meditations I think special.
Yeah, good. Yeah, guided meditations are also good. But what we want to have is a technique which we can use without guidance on a regular basis every day, no?
Yes.
Meditation is a way to come in contact with your inner self. And what is your inner self? Your inner self is that part of you which is eternal, non-changing, infinite and full of love, peace, joy, happiness and creativity and energy. That is your inner self. That is your own nature. Sometimes you have experienced that in your life. Just remember some moments where you were completely happy, completely peaceful, completely fulfilled. You remember such moments, no? When you thought, oh, let it always be like that, let time stop, right? Such moments. In those moments you have experienced your inner nature, yourself. And the question is now, how can we experience that more often? Right? We are not always like that. Small children are more in contact with their inner self. If you see babies or very small children, before they become intellectual, before they go to school, just imagine a group of adults sitting in a room. And then a little 2-year-old child is tottering in. What happens? All the adults start to smile. Have you noticed that?
Yeah.
Small little child comes, everybody starts smiling. Yeah. And why is that? Because the children are still in contact with their inner self, with their inner joy and enthusiasm and love and innocence. And they radiate that. And that makes everybody smile. So we have all been like that. And then what happened? We came to school.
Yeah.
Isn't it? And in the beginning we were still enthusiastic, saying, oh, let me learn something new today. I'm so curious about what I'm going to learn today. Oh, wait a moment. I think I should make some light and then I continue.
Okay.
Yeah? Ah,
Nice.
this looks better, no?
Yeah.
So in the beginning at school we were still enthusiastic. And then at the end when we came out of school with 18 or 19 years or whatever age, how much of that joy and enthusiasm is left?
Little bit or nothing.
Yes, very little. We are more in the mind than in the heart later.
Yeah.
And then we go through life, we do our job, we have relationships and family and all these things. And then when we are old, look at people who are old, 70, 80 years. How much of this joy and enthusiasm and energy do they have left?
A bit.
Very little, no? No?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there are always exceptions, but mostly old people are complaining a lot and and talking negative, and or they are very afraid and insecure. So why is that? Because through their whole life they have collected stress, and they've never learned how to handle the stress and how to dissolve it. So this is our education system doesn't prepare us for dissolving stress and for handling our own mind and our own emotions. This is the most important thing we don't learn. No? So do we want to become like that when we are old?
No.
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 Certainly not.
No.
So we need a technique which will dissolve the stress as soon as it comes in, and which will give us energy and teach us how to handle negative emotions. And that is meditation. Are you practicing yoga also?
A little bit.
Yeah. Yoga is good for the body, for the flexibility of the body and for certain organs, giving more oxygen and more energy there. And meditation is good for the mind. And we will look into it, how it works. Here we have an image of the mind and the self. We can compare the mind to the water. The water has a surface level which is moved in waves, and just like that our mind is moved in different thoughts and emotions and ideas and impressions, etc. Then the water has deeper levels which are more quiet. Like that also the mind has deeper levels which are more quiet. And then beyond the mind, that which in the water which is the ground, the sand or whatever, that is beyond the mind, we have the self. And the self is at the same time our own divine nature and also the source from which everything has come. So the divine from which everything has come out, the whole creation. So in India they have two expressions for that. They say Atman and Brahman. Atman is the personal self and Brahman is the universal self, which is the same, which is one for everything. And both of it is infinite. Here I've used the symbol for infinity from mathematics, and absolute and non-changing, and is pure being or pure consciousness. So, and we said already the nature of the self is creativity, energy, infinite energy, because the whole creation came out from there. It's a field of infinite energy, creativity, intelligence, because it has created this whole world with all its beings. It must be very intelligent. And love and bliss and peace, all these wonderful qualities. So all these are the qualities of the nature of ourself, of the Absolute. Now, our mind has two things. It has a surface level, which is moved in thoughts, as we said, and it has deeper levels. These deeper levels are called the subconsciousness, because we are not aware of them. Usually people use only about 10 to 20% of their mental potential. That means we have around 10 or 20% of waking consciousness and around 80% of subconsciousness. And what do you think, if people use only such a small portion of their mind, what is the result of that?
It could be a better result, I think, if we would
Yes,
use
exactly.
the whole...
20% consciousness or awareness means that only 20% of our knowledge and thinking and action is right and complete. That's the reason why people are making so many mistakes. And that is the reason for all the problems which are in the world today. All the man-made problems. Doesn't matter where you look. If you look into culture or into field of economy or ecology or social life or whatever it is, politics, education, everywhere where you look, humans have been very skillful in creating problems.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
And that's because they use only such a small portion of their mind. And they make so many mistakes. So, the task is practically to make our subconscious conscious and use our full mental potential. Now there's a second problem. The subconsciousness is not only dull and dormant and unused, it is also full of our past impressions. And past impressions, they're collecting. Every day new impressions are coming in. And the normal way of dissolving the impressions of the day is dreaming during sleep. Mm-hmm. When you dream, you are practically working off and dissolving the impressions which you picked up during the day. But scientists have also found out, and psychologists have found out, that we are not able to dissolve all the impressions during the sleep. So many of them stay inside in our subconscious. So all these experiences which had a very deep impression on our mind and on our emotions, they remain inside and collect over the time. And they are symbolized by these little crosses here, these little stars. So these symbolize the stresses. So when too many of these impressions collect in our subconscious during a lifetime, and if we don't have anything in addition to sleeping and dreaming to dissolve them, then this leads to negative emotions like fears, in some cases also panic attacks, suppressed anger and aggression, sadness. If it becomes too much, then it is depression, or there's a feeling of dissatisfaction with life. So all these things, all these negative emotions, which we don't like to have. They're unpleasant, right? Yeah. And they also impact our way of dealing with situations and with other people. So it is good to get rid of them. Okay. Now, how do we do that? That's the next question. In meditation, we go inside from the conscious thinking level through the whole subconsciousness to the Absolute, to the Self. And how do we do that? By using a mantra. Of course, there are many different methods of meditation, but this is the easiest one. It's purely mechanical, If people are, for instance, trying to meditate with a philosophical sentence, or with a koan in Zen Buddhism, something like that, then they're thinking about something and they are caught up in their intellect, in their mind, but they don't transcend so easily. So we have to look at thoughts now. What are thoughts? Thoughts are impulses of this creativity and intelligence and energy which are rising from the Absolute. Every thought comes from there, arising like a little bubble is rising in the water, like this, going up and up and up through the subconscious, and then coming to the conscious thinking level, and there only we become aware of a thought. So we don't experience the subtler levels of the thought, usually, and also not the source of thoughts, which is the absolute. Now in meditation what we do is we reverse the process. We come from our normal thinking mind, thinking level, and we think a thought. In this case it is the mantra which helps us to meditate. And we think the mantra, and the mantra has the natural tendency to lead our mind inside to finer and finer and finer levels, until it is just very, very subtle and very fine, and then we let go, we drop it. In that moment we are in the self. And we experience that as moments of silence, quietness, peacefulness, without thoughts, and the mantra is also gone. So just some quietness in the mind. Next thing which happens is that some stress gets released automatically. So let us say this stress is getting released. Then the intrapsychic energy which was bound in that stress comes up and starts to flow. And then you come out. And you come out with some thoughts. And these thoughts in meditation, after you have dropped the mantra, they are the sign that you are releasing some stress. Now when you become aware of it, that you are thinking of something else, then that stress is dissolved, and then it's time to come back to the mantra and go inside again. So again you think the mantra, and you feel it becoming finer, 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 finer. Just a faint idea, and then you let go and transcend again. Again some other stress gets released, and you come out with thoughts. And then from the thoughts you come back to the mantra. So this going inside in meditation with the mantra, transcending into the self, and releasing stress and coming out with thoughts, happens several times, a few times in every meditation. And each time this happens, you have two results, two effects of it. One is that the qualities of your inner self, the qualities of the divine level of your being, are getting infused into your personality. So you will feel more energy, more clarity in the head and in the mind, more clearer thinking. More energy also means more joy and more enthusiasm. And more love and more creativity. So all these divine qualities are getting infused into your being. And also more creativity. And healing processes are also starting to happen. So this energy flows into your body, and wherever anything in the body needs to be healed, it goes there and starts healing. So it really it helps very much, helps. And so then you come out. So one effect is that these divine qualities come into your being and get infused into your personality. And the second effect is that every time when you transcend, some stresses get released from your subconscious. So that after the meditation you feel more energetic, more joyful and more relaxed, more harmonious. And if you do this every day, and we advise to do this twice a day, morning and evening, 20 minutes. So if you make it a habit, then after some time you will notice the change in your life. And other people will also notice the change in you. Your health will become better. And also your resistance to illnesses gets increased. But not only physical health, also mental health. That means less negative emotions, less fear, less anger, less sadness or dissatisfaction, and more joy, harmony, love, and all these beautiful qualities, which are your real nature. That's good, no?
Yes, that's great.
We spoke about healing. It does not mean that if you meditate you will never fall ill again. We cannot promise that. Some illnesses have to happen, and they also have to do with outer influences on your body and with the food which you eat and many other things. So some things cannot be avoided, but 80% of the diseases can be avoided. That's already quite much. 80% are all the psychosomatic diseases. They can be avoided. Because 80% of the diseases are psychosomatic. They're coming from just too much stress. So all this can be avoided, or this will not happen. It can be avoided. And another effect is also that after some time, when you meditate regularly, your inner talents unfold. And everybody is born with some talents. Sometimes they are aware of it, sometimes not. But after some months or years of meditation, suddenly people start to become more creative. Maybe one person suddenly starts to write beautiful poetry, and they're wondering where all this is suddenly coming out. Or they start to make music, or sing, or paint, or dance, or just express their creativity, or beautify the environment. Or they discover communication skills or organizational skills, whatever. So everybody has been given some talents and some skills, and they unfold beautifully. I have experienced that also when I started to meditate. At that time I was 17 years old, and I had already been a child prodigy in art, painting. But then when I started to meditate regularly, after some time I did not paint anymore, and it was blocked for some time, and then it started in a totally new direction. Much more beautiful, so much more beautiful. It was a huge big opening up in my art. And today I'm an artist also. So another effect also on my health, I will tell you, was that when I started meditation I had two health problems. One was I had a very bad spine and often back pain. And my spine there was scoliosis. It was bent, it was not straight. And I had a pretty weak heart also. So too much physical activity, and I was exhausted. After a few years the heart was completely normal. All its strength had come back. And during meditation, so much energy was flowing into my body that the body was hurled around like this. It was just whirling or swirling around by itself, but very, very strong and powerfully. And sometimes the spine would crack also. It was a strong healing of the spine. And whenever I tried to suppress this movement, I could suppress that by force for a few moments, but the moment I relaxed, it started again. And it was not only circling, it was also doing like this, or like that, and then it would crack. So once I asked my teacher, what is happening? I have so wild meditations. He said, oh, there's something good is happening. The cosmic chiropractor is working on you. And really, indeed, after a few years, my spine had corrected itself from the bottom to the top. Everything was perfect. And the x-rays were done, and the doctors couldn't believe how the spine had totally normalized.
Mm-hmm.
Had healed itself. And also no more back pains. So that was my experience.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in the last, 45 years, I've taught thousands of people worldwide. And I heard many, many healing experiences from people with meditation. And I saw them again after some time.
Mm-hmm.
Very interesting stories. Yeah. And then also, of course, our relationship with other people change. Because if we are more harmonious and more balanced in our own personality, then we react completely different to people. And we radiate more joy, more energy, more harmony. And people feel that. And they also feel more attracted to us. So it makes us more loved and more attracted. Because people always feel attracted by more energy, more joy. Mm-hmm. The mind naturally feels drawn to that, isn't it?
Yes.
So our relationships also get better. And many other things. So I had sometimes quite funny stories when people came to my courses to learn meditation. Usually they came because they saw so much change in one of their friends and relatives who were meditating, right? And then they said, oh, I also should do that. So one child of 12 years came to me and wanted to learn meditation. And I initiate children from around 12 years onwards. So that's an early age. And I said, why do you want to do that? And she said, oh, my parents are meditating and they have changed so much. They don't shout so much anymore. So that was a really nice experience. No?
Yeah.
And another young lady came to us because her brother had changed so much. He was a kind of hippie type person, and he used to sit on the streets and play guitar and then get some money like that. And he was a very nice boy, very musical. And he brought us all his girlfriends, one after another. And then his sister came and wanted to learn meditation. And she said, I saw my brother has changed so much. Suddenly he started to wash himself. So that convinced her. I mean, I don't want to imply that all hippie people don't wash themselves. No, I don't misunderstand. But that was her experience with that, and it's quite funny. And then sometimes the changes are already noticeable in the first few days. Not always, but sometimes. Once I had a lady in my course who was a school teacher, and she was around 50 or so. She came and said, I think I will go in early pension. I don't want to work anymore. The children are so nasty and so horrible. I really don't, I can't stand it anymore, this work. On the second day after the initiation, she came and said, you know what, I think I will stay in my job. Today the children were so nice, and they said to me, what happened to you? You have become so nice. You've become such a friendly and relaxed person. What happened to you?
Yeah.
So the children noticed the change in her, and then they were also nice to her, you know. So everything had changed and it shifted in just 2 days. That was also quite significant.
Yeah.
So, another thing which also improves is our intuition, our intuitive knowledge. You see, intuition is nothing but a direct, sudden influx of knowledge into our consciousness from the level of all knowledge, which is here, at the Absolute. So from there, all knowledge comes. And if you are more in contact with yourself and with these subtle levels, then you are more open to intuitive knowledge. Mm-hmm. So sometimes you can know things in advance, or you know that something about someone else, or you have suddenly connection with somebody, some friend somewhere, and then you phone and they said, "Oh, I just wanted to phone you." You know, such things.
Mm-hmm.
So intuitive knowledge and inner guidance also happens to us. The longer we meditate, the more. Mm-hmm. So, and then after some time, another result is that we make our subconscious more conscious. And we use a greater portion of our mental potential, of our brain. Usually, as I said, 80% subconsciousness. That means our brain also, we are using only about 20% of our brain cells, and the other 80% are dormant and are not being used. And that changes over time. So if somebody uses 30% of their mental potential, we call them already a genius. And so after regular meditation for a few years, we go up to 30%, then we are already a genius. And then and then 50%, 80%, up to 100%. And with 100% mental capacity, we are constantly in contact with our inner self, and the subconsciousness has disappeared and all the stresses have disappeared and dissolved. So this is the way in which we can evolve towards that state of enlightenment in the most easiest and natural and automatic way. Right. Do you have any questions about it?
No.
No? Everything clear?
Yes.
Good. Good. Then what we do in this course is first I will initiate you, and we do this with a short ceremony in Sanskrit language. This ceremony is called puja. Puja means worship. In this puja, the teacher expresses his gratitude towards the traditions of masters who have taught him this knowledge. And this knowledge comes from the Vedic tradition. Veda is Sanskrit and means knowledge. So the knowledge about mantras and the effect of mantras and the meditation comes from ancient India. It is thousands of years old. Nobody knows how old exactly. And over many, many thousands of years, this knowledge has been preserved in these Vedic traditions and always passed on from the master to the disciple. This knowledge about mantras and their effects. And like this, it has come to us. And in the puja, we chant some of the names of some of these masters, and With this, the teacher expresses his gratitude towards the masters from whom we got this knowledge. And it also brings the awareness of the teacher in contact with his higher self and with the tradition of masters. And from there he can select the right mantra and give you the right mantra. So it is also necessary for the teacher to prepare for teaching. And in this ceremony we offer a few things. We offer some fruits, some flowers, some piece of cloth. These are symbolic offerings, because in old times when you came to a master, you would bring them food, which is symbolized by fruits, and you would bring them clothes, that is symbolized by a white handkerchief or a piece of cloth, and we would bring them flowers.
Okay.
And then some other offerings also, light and incense, all these things they are given. And after the puja you will get your mantra and the instructions how to use it, and then you have your first meditation. And after the meditation we will check the meditation, how it was going, and speak about the results. And then you have another meditation at home in the evening, and another one tomorrow morning. And then can we meet again tomorrow?
We'll
Yeah?
see. Yeah.
Okay, then tomorrow we can have a second session.
Right.
And again we will speak about your experiences and check if everything is okay, and we will have one meditation here. If you want to come in the morning again or the afternoon? Afternoon, okay. Then you will have your afternoon meditation here. And then one more day, which we can see. It can be next day or a few days later.
Okay.
Yeah. So that is the structure of the course. And you will get more knowledge and more experience about meditation. And a few additional techniques also.
Okay, great. Looking forward.
Yeah. Okay. Then we can go to the next step now, to the initiation.